Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Time of the month to talk about my favourites for the last month. And when I was kind of gathering the products together, I thought initially, oh, I haven't really got many favourites this month. But of course, when I thought about what I'd actually been wearing and looked at what I'd been posting on Instagram and that kind of thing, I remembered there were quite a few products that I'd really enjoyed this month. A couple of them are kind of fragrance bathing products. I've mentioned the Jo Malone body cream in wood sage and sea salt before, and I really, really love it. You can see when I open this jar how much I've used already. These are enormous jars and you only need a little bit of the cream, which is just as well because it's really expensive, because it's very rich. So they do last for quite a long time, but I'm really getting through this now. And I think part of the reason is that I like with my body creams, unless I'm doing matchy-matchy with whatever fragrance I'm wearing, and I have a lot of perfumes and I don't have the body creams for many of them because I don't tend to kind of match up the body cream with the fragrance unless I'm going out on a special occasion in the evening and I really want to kind of build up the fragrance. So I don't do that a lot, but I always like to wear moisturiser. So if I'm moisturising after my bath in the morning, I want something that I'm going to enjoy wearing, but that isn't going to clash too much with whatever perfume I choose to wear afterwards. And on the other hand, if I'm moisturising before I go to bed at night, then I want something that's, not going to prevent me drifting off to sleep, but where I really like the fragrance. And I just like this fragrance. I think it's very all seasonal. So I think I bought this probably at the end of last summer or autumn and thought it was a kind of autumn fragrance. Slightly less winter fragrance, but definitely coming into its own now that it's spring and going into summer. So, yeah, really liking that. I've also got the hand and body wash, and you can see I'm using that up pretty quickly. I haven't got the perfume in it, and I'm not going to. It's not a fragrance that I kind of want to wear as my primary perfume, but it's a really fresh, comforting, slightly different fragrance to wear as a kind of add-on to perfume. So I have been loving that and using it most days. The other thing that I think I mentioned last month, somewhat taking myself by surprise, was this Clarence Toner, because I don't normally wear a toner anymore. It's kind of become one of those cosmetic products that have fallen out of fashion now that we kind of use exfoliating lotions and glycolic acid lotions, lactic acid, that kind of thing. I tend not to use a toner that much. My skin has been quite sensitive the last couple of months, and I pulled this out of my stash, and I have been using it after I've cleansed, before serum or moisturiser, or just first thing in the morning, most particularly, when I don't really need to do a major cleanse but want to freshen up. And there's something about the texture in particular of this toner which is very nice. It's almost like a kind of liquid gel. It's not watery. It's got a kind of viscosity to it, which I know some people, I've read reviews, don't like, but I actually find really nice on the skin when my skin's feeling a bit itchy and dry and needs a bit of comfort. So it's a pricey and additional thing to have. I mean, Clarence isn't that pricey a range, but if you don't need a toner, why pay anything at all? But I have really been enjoying it, and I've used quite a lot of it. I guess that might be a disadvantage. You do tend to use a lot, partly because the stopper, the hole in the top, is quite big, I think, so it's difficult to control it without soaking your cotton pad. Another cream, hand cream, this is actually a sample that I got from Diptique of their Baume Genereux. luxurious hand balm. Like it a lot, partly because of the smell, a slightly sweet almondy, nutty smell that I really like. I just looked up online to see how much it would be to actually buy some, and to my horror, I discover it's only sold in a jar, which is the most impractical way of selling a hand cream. Because let's face it, after you've applied your hand cream, your hands are going to be slippy, and the last thing you want to do is to be doing up a jar again. So really sad. Really, really like the product, but if it's true and they only sell it in jars, there's no way I'll be buying it. So that's a favourite fail, shall we say. So, makeup. I haven't been wearing any one thing terribly consistently this month. Haven't had a myriad of new purchases. On the skin front, I'm kind of using up a number of foundations that I've had all too long, and BB and CC creams. One thing that I have been using consistently, really almost instead of a concealer, to kind of boost my foundation if I'm wearing a liquid foundation in those areas where I need a bit of coverage and where I know it wears off during the day, is the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick, and I've been wearing Pale Dune. I'm Pale Dune, or I can wear the next one up, which is Fawn, in fact. So there it is. You can see, although I've been using it a lot, still plenty there. And yeah, it's the cream foundation in a stick, much less drying than any other stick foundations I've tried, and has quite a nice luminous finish on the skin. Does benefit from a bit of fingertip work to warm it up, although I do blend it out with a foundation brush as well. The great plus of this, it's quite pigmented, so you only need a little to really cover up on, for me, the chin and the T-zone area. It has really good lasting power for me, so that's why I use that, not as an all-over foundation, but as a really good boost. And again, unusually for this month, I normally like to go for quite illuminating powder because I've got older, drier skin. I don't want to be a glitter ball, but I do like actually a bit of shine. But I've been going for a slightly more matte look this month, and so I brought out my old Tom Ford powder, and this one is in Alabaster Nude, so I think probably the lightest. Now, my only gripe with this, I've said it before, is this wretched brush. I mean, you don't need to use your brush, certainly when you're putting on in the morning. I use my proper powder brush, but for touch-ups, you know, you don't want to take a separate brush. And I can't tell you the number of times I've caught myself on this rather sharp side of the brush. So that's my only gripe with Tom Ford's translucent finishing powder. It's perfectly nice. I'm not a great expert on translucent finishing powders though. Eye-wise, well, just general palette-wise, I'm afraid I've been shopping the stash. So one of the palettes I've used a lot, no longer available, the Guerlain Holiday palette. Part of the revelation of this one has been the blushes, which I've been wearing quite a lot this month. They're brilliantly pigmented, but those colour selections, really, really nice. I thought because they were tiny pans, they would be very difficult to use, but actually with my angled MAC blush brush, I can get in even to the little ones, and they last really, really well. I've been using this one constantly, but this one's very pretty as well when you really need a brightening up look. So I've been enjoying that palette, and the eye colours as well. They're very warm, so although I thought this was an entirely appropriate palette at Christmas, in fact it's working for the warmer weather as well, and I've been using those three top colours, this one particularly, quite a lot. While we're on the topic of sold out makeup products, the handful of you who I know were trying to get hold of the Guerlain Poudre de Soie Asian limited edition that Selfridges had a small run of, and I bought and raved about in a couple of videos, and I know a few people were trying to get hold of it and missed it. If you really are desperate to get it, it is now on sale. It's on, not on sale, it's expensive. It's stocked by Izzy's, the American overstock product site, and I'll put a link below in case anyone's interested. It's $99, and if you're bringing it to the UK, you're going to have to pay postage on top. So it's only if you're really keen to get it. It is a beautiful, beautiful product, and that's the way to get it at the moment. I'm still loving my By Terry palette. Haven't been using it every day, but particularly when I've travelled, I've used it. Particularly loving these four here. I've talked about that a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it again. I've also been enjoying this, and again, I'm afraid it's a past Chanel Hazard, a kind of very cool plummy taupe. I always use powder shadows on top of a cream shadow, generally Tom Ford or Chanel, but I've been using this Mally Age Rebel eyeshadow, which is, just a bit like the Laura Mercier caviar sticks. Do I mean Laura Mercier? Or do I mean Bobbi Brown? Can't remember. Anyway, I've got a couple of colours. This one's been my favourite. Mally, I've said it before, claims these things are bulletproof and don't move at all. I'm not sure that is entirely true, but as an eyeshadow base or even a very simple eye on its own, this works. QVC in the UK. I should give a shout out to this product, which is from Soap and Glory, who I've called for everything in previous videos. Haven't liked any of their products up till now, but this is their Super Cat eyeliner pencil, liquid. I'm not very good with these, but I found this one actually works for me. It just seems to have exactly the right sized tip. Quite large, in fact, but I find it quite easy or easier to handle, and it stays in place well. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it's quite cheap. I've worn a whole variety of lipsticks. My recent favourite is this one from MAC, Hollywood Cerise from the Philip Treacy, which I showed the other day. Really loving it. Have been wearing my Guerlain Kiss Kiss, particularly in this peachy pink, which is a bit glittery, which makes it not the most comfortable to wear, but it is a very pretty peachy pink shade for this time of year. So enjoying that. And a shout out to my all-time favourite eyeliner pencils, which are the Stylo Yeux Waterproof by Chanel. This one, Khaki Precieux, is the one I use the most, but I mean I've got them in probably about 6 or 7 different colours. And this one, which is a very light gold, I've been using recently as a inner waterline highlighter very effectively. Once you get them on, they really don't budge until you take them off in the evening. So it turned out I had quite a few favourites this month. Look out for the Tom Ford. Definitely going on a safari tomorrow to try and get my Tom Ford summer collection. And I'm also expecting the Chanel pretty soon too. So it's going to be an exciting few weeks. Until then, bye for now.